Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Mitsuko, so thank you so much for watching this video. So today's look is going to be pretty simple. Now, this is for those of you who love neutral like myself, but you want your look to still pack a punch but still be simple, okay? This is going to be for the holidays. If you have any event to go to, I think this is going to work. So let's get into it. For this look, I plan on using the Mothership eyeshadow palette from Pat McGrath, the number 5. I'm using these 3 shades. This look is just going to be neutrals. But when I was going through my collection, I did notice a couple palettes that could also be great if ever you want to recreate the look. So I'm just going to quickly go through them just to show you the options that you have if ever you don't have the Mothership eyeshadow palette. The first one is the Soft Glam from Anastasia. I think this one is great. I love this palette. Now, this has to be one of my favorite palettes because, neutrals. You can definitely use all of these shades plus the gold right here. I think it's a beautiful palette and I'm sure a lot of you have it. This one is pretty popular. Next one I have is the Jackie Aina and Anastasia. There are some nice shades you can use. You have these here plus that one. You can also use this one as well from Charlotte Tilbury. I don't think this one is available at Sephora, but it is available on the Charlotte Tilbury website. You can definitely use this section right here, a little bit more copper than gold, but I still think it's fine. If you don't like gold, you don't like copper, you can use any other type of shimmer that you like, and I'm sure you'll be fine. This is from Violet Voss. Like a Boss eyeshadow palette is great. I truly love it as well. You have the beautiful shades here that you can use and then a lot of shimmers. This one is super pretty. It's a little bit more yellow than the gold I'm going for, but I think you should still be fine. That's pretty much everything. Let's just get into the eyes and then start this look. Whenever I'm prepping my eyes, I like to use a concealer that's a little bit lighter than my skin tone. So that way, whenever I'm applying the shades, then it just pops more. But today I want to use this one from Hourglass. This is a foundation and I like to use it just to contour. So this is what Chestnut looks like on my hand. And when you blend it, it's super rich, it's beautiful. And I feel like it's going to work well with this look. And then just to set it, I'm just going to put the eyeshadow on it. It's the perfect base. So I'm just going to start with one eye, just blend that just to make sure it's all good. And then I'm going to put the shade all over my lid, also right here. I'm all done blending. I'm going to now use the eyeshadow just to set it. It doesn't really need it, but just to be safe, I'm just going to put something. I'm going to take this shade. Okay, making sure I put that also right here close to my inner corner, bring that pretty high because we're going to go for something smoky. That's pretty much everything, and having the base pretty similar to the first eyeshadow just makes it easier and less work, right? Just to add some depth to my eye, I'm going to use some of this shade and then put it on the outer part of my eye and then blend it out, mix it with the first one up to my crease. This is super pigmented, so be light-handed at first and then build up the shade. Using this brush to blend it out, I did clean it. Bring it into my crease a little bit. Going to take the leftover, just adding more again. The next step is going to be a cut crease, and trust me, it is pretty simple. If I can do it, you can do it too, okay? The shimmer is going to be starting from the inner corner all the way up to, let's see, here, and then just blend with the outer part. I'm using the Sephora Best Skin Ever concealer, and then this one's in the shade 21.5. Also with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. The shade I plan on using for Pat McGrath is more of a topper, so that's why I'm using this. Take the concealer, put it on the back of your hand. This is what it looks like, and then I'm going to take some of the eyeshadow primer and then also put that on the back of my hand. Okay, you're going to need a brush like this, a flat brush. So I'm planning on mixing the two on the back of my hand first, just so it's easier for me to apply it. And then I'm going to put it on my lid, not over my crease. You'll see why. So you just put it here. So my crease is right there. So then you're gonna look up from one side to the other. And then see, it just creates the crease for me already. Just going to put a little bit more here, there. Okay, perfect. Bring some right here too, a little bit closer to the end. Look up. So my crease is technically already done, and it won't be this light, so don't worry about that. Just making sure it's carved pretty well. And the thing is, I'm using a shimmer, so It's more forgiving, so don't worry. Okay, going to take a brush like this just to make sure it's all blended and even. So you're just going to pat it. I'm going back in with the first shade, just a little bit of that on the outer part so it's not too harsh. This is the beautiful shimmer I plan on using. This is what it looks like. So I'm going to apply that on my lid and just make sure you only put it where you cut your crease. See what I mean? And then I can always use a brush just to apply a little bit closer to the line, because I don't want to go over that. But it's okay if it does. I mean, no one's really gonna see it. You have a brush like this and then get closer to the line, but I think it's probably easier if you just use your finger. So I'm happy with this eye. Going to do the other one off camera and then I'll come back and then continue the rest of the face. Did the other eye off camera. I do plan on finishing it after doing my base, so we'll get into it in a moment. Just gonna start with the base. Add a little bit of the Vitamin Enrich face base, and I love using this product. I find that whenever I'm doing a full face of makeup and I know it's going to be very glam, I like to use this just because it helps with, you know, the foundation. I do have a little bit of fallout, but I think it should be fine. For my foundation, I'm going to be using the Lightweight Reflecting Foundation from NARS. This one is in the shade Macao. I forgot to put a primer, guys, but I have an idea. Because I forgot to put the primer, I'm just going to put the Universal Balm from Anastasia on top of the foundation. It shouldn't be an issue. I've done it before, so let's just do that. Just going to take some. And you don't need a lot. Like a little bit goes a long way, just maybe this much. I'll put it on the back of my hand like this. And then I just need to warm it up till it becomes like this. And then I'll take a brush like that, apply it on top of the foundation, and then give it some time to settle in, and then we'll go on top with everything else. So, and again, you can use this to set your makeup, so that's why I know it's not an issue. Just going to take some, put it on top of everything. See? Still looks good. Going to color correct with the Fenty concealer. This one is in the shade 390, and I'm only taking a little bit of this one. Okay, and then on top of that, I'm using the Pat McGrath concealer. This one's in the shade MD26. And then to contour, I'm using the Hourglass, the same one we use on our eyes. I'm going to use that one just to contour. Taking some of the Tatcha Dewy Mist, covering my eyes. And I'll put some on the sponge. And then just to add a little bit of brightness, going to use the Makeup Forever concealer. This one's in the shade 4.3. And then while I'm waiting for this to set a little bit, going to use the bronzer from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in the shade Deep. This is our cream bronzer. And what I like about this bronzer is that it's not too warm. I find that the two together, the contour and this one mixed together, just looks beautiful on the skin. Trust me, a little bit goes a long way with this. Going back in with the leftover from my brush, just making sure everything is blended. For the blush, I'm going to be using this palette from Anastasia Nuditude. Now what I did is just I put it on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to use a brush to apply it just because I find it easier. Just going to bring that up to my temple. So it's time to set my highlight, and I'm going to use Charlotte Tilbury setting powder. Now this is medium 2. This is a new one that I picked up during the Sephora sale. Going back in with another sponge just to make sure everything is perfect before I set it. And I'm just setting this, I'm not baking. And then I'll use this one from MAC. This is the Light Reflecting Setting Powder, and in Mesa, just to lightly set everything else. And then to bronze, I'm going to use this one from Fenty. This is Coconutty. And I like using this bronzer because it's a little bit closer to my skin tone compared to the other bronzers I have. And I feel like it's not too warm. It will bring some warmth, but it just doesn't overdo it for me. Okay, and then for my cheeks, I'm going to be using this one from Gucci. This is the number 6 Warm Berry. And then I'll spray a small amount of this, not too much, just because I don't want it to be dewy. And then for the bottom lash line, I'm going back in with the Pat McGrath and then using this shade. I'm going to line my bottom lash line with the Precision liner from Patrick Ta in the shade Cream. And I prefer using a cream shade than a white shade just because the white sometimes is just too much. Eyes are pretty much all done. I'm loving the look, and like I said, it was going to be simple. I got carried away, okay? I got carried away. So for the lips, just going to line them with Cork. This is Up to No Good by Fenty. It's a Mattemoiselle shade. So you could either leave it like this or add a gloss, but you know me, I love my glossy lips. So I'm going to add this from Anastasia. This is a Color Fix. And just a little bit of that, to be honest, because she is glossy. So I'm going to change, come back, and then show you how everything looks put together, okay? So this is the final look, and I am so happy. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you'll be recreating this look. If you haven't done it already, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.